Now, if you're familiar with geography at all, um, by Justinian's time, Visigoths were no longer Arian. The Franks had become Christian as well. The Vandals were still Arian. Arian meaning they disagreed with one iota at the Council of Nicaea, that Christ wasn't of the same essence as of the Father, but that he was a different essence, implying maybe two gods, or he was a lesser divinity, or something like that. They still used words like Trinity, and they still believe very closely, just like all the councils. It usually hangs, like the Council of Ephesus hung on Theotokos versus Christotokos. Chalcedon hung on hypostatic union. So, here we go. This is all Christendom, right? And the jewels of Christendom, right? We think of, or at least the West wants us to think of Rome. Well, no. Look here. Ephesus, Nicaea, Chalcedon, Constantinople. If we go further, Antioch, and then in Syria, Palestine, we have all, Bethlehem, everything in there. Egypt, you had Alexandria, which that at one point was the only non-Aryan place in the world. You had Athanasius Contramundo. The Lombards were still pagan. Now this is a map of 527, 526. About 100 years before the rise of Islam. And the Ghassanids, these people right here, the Ghassanids, they were Monophysite Christians. Christians that rejected the Council of Chalcedon. They would have been in good standing with the Egyptians. On the other side over here, which is not shown, is Lakhmids. They were Nestorian and pagan. So, what did Islam do? Islam, within a century, stretched from India all the way up into Spain, and were stopped here at Tours. They made many attacks at Italy, and they made an attack on Constantinople, and at one point almost took all of Anatolia. They even, later on, just about 400 years ago, almost got Austria, and the Ottoman Empire existed in the Balkans. That's why we have Bosnia-Herzegovina. So, 300 years of rapid Islamic expansion. And these weren't even Arab speakers, these were Latin speakers. No Muslim was ever here. Conquering by the sword. And about 300 years later, when all free lands were going to be subsumed by the caliphate and subjugated, and your culture was going to be completely destroyed and assimilated into an Arab Islamic culture, the Christians started to band together in a thing called the Crusade, and they struck back. The Crusades were a series of wars that only lasted just over about 100 years, maybe 120 years, but they put a hurt on the Muslim expansion, and actually in some parts reversed it, like the Reconquista of Spain. Anybody tells you about the golden era of Islamic Spain, Spain was under continual warfare when the Muslims were there. Continual warfare. Right? Fine. So that's the map. Now we get to see, at least, our places like Damascus, Antioch, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Nazareth, Ephesus, Nicaea, Thessalonica, the ruins of Colossae and Corinth. We can go there and visit and, hey, check it out. Whoop! Not if ISIS has its way. Not if ISIS has its way. 3 biggest Jewish communities: Alexandria, Rome, Antioch. This is because Jerusalem, the burning of the temple, and them kicking out. But this is what was lost, because the friggin' Shah, king of kings, king of all Aryans, had to pick a fight with Rome that lasted 30 friggin' years, exhausting both their military might, ending in a Pyrrhic victory for Rome. What a stupid waste.